Welcome again, first year students. We were doing Alexander's Feast by John Dryden, and to continue with the poem, as I told you that this is a poem by John Dryden who wants to let us know the power of music. So, let me revise the background that Alexander has thrown a grand royal party. He is giving a feast. Why? Because he has recently won Persia and all his valiant peers are sitting around him, and Thais, his bride, is also sitting beside him, and Timotheus, the great musician, is playing on various music types of music, and he is also impressing the mind of Alexander with various sorts of music. So the first type of music he sang was religious music, and that music contained the theme that Alexander is not a common human being, but he is the son of Jove himself. So, see the impression of the song on two levels: on the public, and the monarch himself and the king himself. So, what was the effect of that song on the common public? Is that they started believing that Alexander is not a common human being, but he is a son of God. So they started shouting, "A present deity, a present deity." The vaulted roofs rebound. So the roofs of that grand hall reverberated with the sound of applause. The people were clapping, the people were applauding, and they started shouting that he is not a common human person, but he is a present deity. Alexander is a present God among us. With ravished ears, the monarch hears. Now we will see the effect of that music on the monarch himself, on the king, on Alexander himself. With ravished ears, the monarch hears. Now he was also impressed by the music. He was hearing with ravished ears, means with enraptured mind. He was listening to the praise of God, which was indirectly his praise also. So the monarch hears, assumes the god, affects to nod. He assumes the god. Why? Because Timotheus has said that he is the son of God. So he has started assuming that, yes, I am the god. Affects to nod. And he is nodding that, yes, whatever is Timotheus saying or singing is correct. Yes, I am the Son of God, and seems to shake the spears. He is nodding in such a manner that it seems that he will shake the spears. The praise of Bacchus, then the sweet musicians sung. Of Bacchus, ever fair and ever young. Now, after the religious song, the musician changed his song, changed the theme of his song, and he started singing the praise of Bacchus. Who is Bacchus? Bacchus is the god of wine, god of intoxication, of Bacchus, ever fair and ever young. Now, Bacchus is described as fair and young. The jolly god in triumph comes. Now, this party is going on, and Timotheus is playing various sorts of music, and he is singing in such an impressive manner that people think that Bacchus himself has come down. So the jolly god in triumph comes. Sound the trumpet, beat the drums. Now you notice the different sorts of musical instruments being used. The first song, which was sung in the praise of God, was accompanied with lyre. And now hard musical instruments are being played by the musician and his band of singers. Why? Because now they are singing in the praise of Bacchus, the god of wine. So now lyre won't do. Now they are sounding trumpets and drums. Flushed with a purple grace, he shows his honest face. Now Timotheus and his band of singers, they are singing in such an impressive manner that people have started believing, they're hypnotized. They started believing that God Himself has come down in this party, and they have started imagining that He has come with a purple face. Now give the hautboy breath. Now, what is a hautboy? It is a musical instrument which is sounded by breath. He comes, he comes. Now, notice three sorts of musical instruments are used as accompaniments: drums, trumpets, and hautboys. He comes, he comes. So, people have started imagining after listening to that enrapturing music that Bacchus has himself come down on the earth. Bacchus, ever fair and young. Drinking joys did first ordain. Now you see, the praise of Jav, the praise of God, inspired religious feelings, and the praise of Bacchus is inspiring joys of pleasure, of eating, drinking, and being merry. So here lies the difference of music. So, what is Bacchus saying? That drinking joys are the first joys. Bacchus's blessing are a treasure. Drinking is the soldier's pleasure. Rich the treasure, sweet the pleasure, sweet is pleasure after pain. So, this god of Bacchus is being praised by Timotheus, and Timotheus is singing that drinking is a soldier's pleasure and it is pleasurable to drink after pain. Pain means after having a lot of struggle in war, then drinking is the soldier's uh, pleasure. Now, what is the effect of this sound over Alexander? He becomes intoxicated. Without drinking wine, only with the help of music, his mind is intoxicated. And what happens in intoxication? A person loses his rational thinking. So, the same happened with Alexander, that after listening to the music sung by Timotheus and his band of singers, he became intoxicated. And so he was soothed with the sound. The king grew vain. He grew vain means he lost his rational thinking. Fought all his battles over again, and thrice he routed all his foes, and thrice he slew the slain. See the intoxicated effect on the mind of Alexander of the music, that he was soothed with the sound. What sort of sound? Sound was related to the praise of Bacchus. And the king grew vain. Who is the king? Alexander. He lost his rationality of living in the present, and he went into the past. He fought all his battles over again. He fought all his battles over again means he went into imagination and he imagined that he is in a battlefield. Why? Because his mind is intoxicated. A person whose mind is intoxicated, he loses the control over his mind, and he also loses the control of the sense of present, past, or future. The same is happening with Alexander, that he lost his sense of being in the present and he went into the past and he started fighting all his battles over again in imagination. And thrice he routed all his foes. Routed means he defeated all his enemies thrice, and thrice he slew the slain. So, in imagination, he is killing the killed people, already killed people. He is killing all his foes. Foes means all his enemies again and again. So, this is the effect of the intoxicating music. The master saw the madness rise. Now, who is the master? The music master, Timotheus. He saw his success. Two times till now, he is successful in having effect on the mind of Alexander. How two times? First, he sang the praise of Jove. And what was that? What was the effect on the mind of Alexander? That he started thinking that I am not a common man, I am a Son of God. And what was the effect of that song on the common human being, common people present there? They also started applauding him as a present deity. And what is the second effect of his music? The second effect of music is intoxication. And Alexander was intoxicated and he started fighting again with his enemies in his imagination. So, Master was feeling successful. He was feeling very gratified and satisfied that yes, my music is having the correct effect on the mind of Alexander. So, the master, music master Timotheus, saw the madness rise. He looked on the face of Alexander. He noticed his expressions, changing expressions, and he saw that the madness of wine is rising in his mind, and the glowing cheeks of the king, his ardent eyes. Now, all these are the symptoms of a drunkard. So, the master saw that without drinking, he has been successful in intoxicating the mind of Alexander. His cheeks are glowing, his eyes are ardent. And while heaven and earth defied, changed his hand and checked his pride. Now, he means Alexander and his here means Timotheus. So, Alexander was defying heaven and earth. By the intoxicating music, he lost the sense of heaven and earth. And meanwhile, what happened? That Timotheus, he changed his hand. Changed his hand means he changed the music. He gave a sign to his band that now change the music. Now start playing different music, and checked his pride. Now his means Alexander. His pride was rousing. He was so much intoxicated that he went into the past and he was killing the already killed people. And it was in the hands of Timotheus to check the pride, to check the intoxication of Alexander. So, how did he stop that feeling of pride? He changed the music. So, as soon as the music was changed, the feeling aroused by the next song was also changed. He chose a mournful muse. Now, after the two musics, the first the first song was religious song in the praise of Jove. The second was in the praise of Bacchus, the god of wine. And now the third song will be sung in the praise of pity. Now, the third type of music will arouse pity in the mind of Alexander. So, in order to arouse pity, naturally, he chose a song which will entice pity into the heart and mind of Alexander. So, he chose a mournful muse, soft pity to infuse. He sang Darius, great and good. By too severe a fate, fallen, 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 fallen from his high estate, and weltering in his blood, deserted at his utmost need by those his former bounty fed. Now, again, through a musical song, Timotheus is relating a story. He is relating the story of Darius. So, He chose a mournful muse. He means Timotheus. He chose the muse. Who is a muse? Muses are the 9 goddesses of various arts. They are Greek goddesses. Now he chose a mournful muse, means he chose the goddess of music, mournful goddess of music. In other words, he now started singing a sad song. Soft pity to infuse. Why? In order to infuse soft pity in the mind of Alexander. So he sang Darius, great and good. So Timotheus started singing the song of Darius. Darius, who was a king, but he had a very sad ending. That king Darius was great and good. Remember, we have pity on those people who are good, on the decline of those people, on the fall of those people who are good. But the king was great and good, but he had a severe fate, means his fate was not favorable. He was not fortunate enough to have a good death. He was fallen from his high estate. High estate means high estate of being a king and being murdered by his own people. So, weltering in his blood. So, the story of this king goes that he was a king very great and good, and what happened in the end? He was weltering in his own blood on the bare, naked earth, deserted at his utmost need by those his former bounty fed. So, in that moment, he was in his utmost need of friends to help him, to save him, to close his eyes. But he was deserted, he was left alone by all those people who were feeding at the grace of that uh, king. So it is very sad that the king, who was very graceful for his people, but during his utmost need, nobody came to help him. So he was deserted, he was left alone at his utmost need when he needed the most, and by those people who were fed on his own bounty. On the bare earth exposed he lies. Now look at the type of end he is meeting. On the bare earth, even when a common man dies, he is not laid on the bare earth. He is laid on a mattress. But he was a king and he is lying down on the bare earth with not a friend to close his eyes. Nobody is around him to help him, to save him, or to close his eyes. Now, here the song by Timotheus stops and the poem resumes. Now, the next lines, the coming lines, show the effect of this sad song on Alexander. So, what is the effect on Alexander of that sad sound? With downcast looks, the joyless victor sate. Now, who is the joyless victor? Alexander. Downcast looks. Now he is no more in intoxication, but his looks are downcast. He is looking down. Why? Because even he has killed a lot of kings during his pursuit of becoming the victor of the whole world. Now, but today he is a joyless victor. Now you see, notice this term joyless victor. This is an oxymoron. Oxymoron means two opposite words placed together. How can a victor be joyless? Or how can a joyless person be victorious? But these two words are joined in order to express two feelings. He is a victor because recently he has won Persia, but today he is joyless. Why he is joyless? He after listening to the music, after listening to the sad song of Darius, he has become sad, revolving in his altered soul. Altered means changed. Now there is a change in his soul. Why? Because he has started thinking. Because now pity has made its way into his heart. So he is revolving means he is overthinking with his changed soul, the various turns of chance below, he has started thinking of his past, that even he has been ruthless, even he has been cruel, even he has been a killer of so many kings. And now and then a sigh he stole. Now, can you notice the contrast of the previous feeling and this feeling? With the previous song of the praise of Bacchus, he was killing his already killed enemies, but now he is sighing. Why? Because Timotheus is successful in arousing pity in the mind of in the mind and heart of Alexander. Now and then a sigh he stole. Why is he stealing a sigh? Because he does not want that his people should know that he is sighing or he is crying, and tears began to flow. Now see the mighty, the powerful effect of music, that the victor Alexander the Great has started crying, because now his mind is filled with pity. Initially, his heart and mind were filled with religious feelings, then afterwards, his heart and mind were filled with intoxication, and now his heart and mind are filled with the feeling of pity. So I hope you understood these stanzas. We will continue with the next class. Thank you.